What's going on, everybody? We're here again, episode 7. We're back at it, and I'm a little bit extra excited for this episode. It's going to be a little bit different, but here at Zach Sports, we cover it all. This episode, we're going to talk a little bit of horse racing, a little fighting. We'll get into some of the, baseball, more than likely basketball. We'll get into some of that, but we're going to focus most of this on, some horses and some fighting. So I'm very excited to welcome all my guests. A good buddy of mine, Justin. Very exciting. Happy to have you on here. Just introduce yourself. Let the world know.
What's up, brother Zach, man? We met up here a few weeks back just through some adventures were going on, I guess you'll say, right? And just some big sports fan, of course. I like the horses. That was something I actually missed the Derby. I was telling you about it. I go to Buffalo Wild Wings and they don't have the Derby on. That's like a carnal sin, right?
You told me that, and I was like, what kind of beat ups do they have out in West Virginia?
It's Southern West. We're lucky to have one, first of all. But I mean, come on, guy. I was really upset. I was startled, but I did wait to see the winner and on another channel. But anyway, man, I'm a sports fan like you. Trying to get into the betting side a little bit. I do a little bit of daily fantasy. Try to have fun doing that. And mostly fantasy sports in general. My baseball team's doing pretty well so far. Made sure to do the salary cap this year. Got that pitching staff. So I'm feeling pretty good. I'm feeling pretty good about it.
Is that baseball. A dynasty league, or how does salary cap work with fantasy?
Well, it's just like the auction.
Oh,
sorry.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And I see now.
I just did it through ESPN. Try to get some buddies in last minute. They're more, football. Just finished my basketball league up. Did terrible. Had the first pick. Got Luka, of course, one of the best in the game. I went up getting Luka, Tatum, and Middleton, and actually Devin Booker. Also, I had a really impressive draft. But I traded Booker for a couple key pieces, and I think I got knocked out of the playoffs. But it is what it is. Excited for some playoff baseball, some fantasy baseball though. Got to definitely stay on that daily fantasy grind, or starting to get back into it. The stuff we've been doing lately, just looking up stats and stuff. It's been really fun, man. It really has.
Yeah, fantasy baseball's that's one of my favorite. Fantasy football will always be number one for me, but fantasy
of course.
baseball, I love it. I didn't do basketball this year. I did 2 years ago, and I was the 2 seed heading into playoffs, and then COVID hit and season kind of ended.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
And that was my first year doing basketball since middle school. So it's been a minute. I had a solid squad, but I did fantasy hockey this year. That's kind of new. Mm-hmm. Don't fully know what I'm doing. But I'm in the championship this week. So, and I'm up as of now. I think I'm up about 30 points halfway through the matchup. So, we're getting it. There's always something fancy sports to go on. So that's always fun to talk about.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's so fun, man. It's so different. You can bring, whoever you want, along with you and just have a good time with it. I love it. And there's so many more sites and places doing it now.
Yeah, it's crazy. And that's why we're kind of, some of our adventures we're going on. We're just kind of exploring the world of sports betting together. We're just kind of trying to figure it out. So speaking of that, I know you don't necessarily bet a ton yet, but have you had any plays lately that have, kind of either done you dirty or you're excited that you've won? Or I always start with the bad ones, because those seem to happen to me a little bit more than the good ones, but we don't have to talk about that.
Right. Let's see, a couple plays that I'd mentioned just right before we came on. So this will sound a little silly, but a couple plays. I do this streak along with a buddy. We may play each other for $5 or something, right? Like whoever. It's very small. We're actually trying to get more people involved, hopefully. But it's ESPN streak. I was going for the most. I had 13 games in a row, which is really. I mean, it's difficult. Yeah, and last night I'm like, man, should I go Clippers? Should I go Padres Pirates? Pirates struggle some. I'm a Reds fan, so it's hilarious seeing the Pirates. Don't hate me, Zach. I know you're a
Yeah, I
Cardinals
was gonna
guy,
say,
but
well, that's it, folks. We had a
it's
good
over.
episode.
Yeah. Well, my region, I have to either like the Reds or can I just say I like everybody? I don't. It's not that I like them. I just hate the Cubs. That's
Oh,
fair. Am I back
there we
on
go,
now?
and we're back on, folks. Sorry about that.
Especially
Hey,
after
we
this
got it,
weekend.
brother.
Yeah,
Cubs.
yeah. I feel like an honorary card now. But no, I actually lost the Padres game last night. I watched it. We have the Pittsburgh affiliate channel. It was devastating, man. Tatis didn't play. He did pinch hit, I believe, once, and a little pop out. Nothing big. There went my streak right there.
That's crazy.
Another thing, let's see. There was a game a few weeks back. I didn't really. It was kind of a play I gave to a friend, and it was one of these. Who was it? It was Boston right before they really, really declined. But I hate Boston. I'm a Knicks fan, so it's bittersweet. But again,
we're back. We're like on the same page, man.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. I'm glad. Thank you. Well, the reason it sucked though, I gave my buddy advice who does bet, but he doesn't watch like a ton of excuse me, he doesn't watch a ton of NBA or anything. And I'm like, it's dicey, but I'd say Boston, and then lo and behold, they drop it, of course. Yeah. So we'll see what happens down the stretch, but not too much other than daily fantasy and just getting my tail kicked there, trying to grind out a couple, just trying to recoup a couple bucks here and there. And you know how that goes. The crack of a bat literally changes anything and everything on a dime.
Yeah, I can't even imagine doing fantasy or daily fantasy with baseball. That's already enough with football. I've never even tried it with baseball, but
it's agitating. To say the least.
Just because it's the same thing with like just straight up betting on baseball too. Literally it's a 162 game season. Literally anything happen. No one's going 0-162. Like
right.
Terrible thing. I guess the Orioles are having a better year this year. The Tigers will beat the Yankees like one time this year. It's stuff like that. So literally anything can happen. So you could have a guy hitting 400 go 0 for 4 the day you pick them.
You're right, man. And that was my whole thing against the Padres. I'm like, well, the Pirates, it's the Pirates. Who do they have? And I'm not hating on them, but when you look at when you compare the two star wise, we had Machado playing, we had Hosmer out there, who a pretty nasty bullpen. They had to bring the bullpen out early. I think Lamet, I don't know what was going on with Lamet, but something happened.
I think he's coming back from injury, so I think he only pitched 2.
2.
I was gonna say he didn't give up any runs or anything, but I think they're just trying to ease him back in.
Oh, okay. So what? Well, I wish I would have known that, Zach. I wish I would have. Maybe
we should have talked earlier, man. We'll start collabing.
Yeah. But as far as that, just a little bit of daily fantasy in the streak. So I've got nothing too much to complain about. I'm not out here losing like $1,000 or anything. So
I was gonna say, and now to me, not quite losing $1,000. I'm fresh from college. I can't be betting that much, but man, I have been ice cold, and I was heating up end of last week, and then Sunday I went 1-5. I had some baseball, some NBA, just absolutely brutal. Then head into this week, a couple like 1 and 2 days, where it's like, it's not great, but we're close. You can't complain it too much when you go 1 and 2. But then yesterday, my birthday, super excited. Going to a Cardinals game. It's all perfect. And all of a sudden, it rained all day here in St. Louis. And we're like, okay, like rain hold off. The rain stops. Like we get dinner downtown. Things are looking great. It's clear. It's a little cloudy, a little dark, but like it's clear. Doesn't look too bad. We get into the stadium. and there's a little delay. It's like, okay, makes sense, like little delay. So then around like 7:15, 7:30, all of a sudden they just hit us with the game has been postponed due to weather, and we're all looking around like, where's the rain? Like, it's like, is the
That
rain
sucks,
coming?
man.
We saw some radars, and it's like, okay, there might be a ton of rain coming. We go to some bars in St. Louis after that, play some shuffleboard, play some games, and all of a sudden we're walking back to the car, still no rain. It's like we'd be in like the sixth inning by now. Like, what's going on? Like
Right.
a few
That is
sprinkles
bad.
here and there, but I had earlier in the year, this will have been the second Cardinals game I will have gone to. First one, I bet like 5-6 plays just on the Cardinals game alone because it's fun to root for. So I had
Right.
about 5 plays and just all of them, void. And then I had 3 other plays, all 3 duds. So 0-3 day, Cardinals game gets canceled, and I thought about taking a day off because I'm like, okay, I'm cursed. I can't do this. Then all of a sudden, first play of today was a John Means no hitter. I bet the Orioles money line. I was like, all right, we're getting there. 3 other plays, all just trash. I have the Brewers right now, which actually came back a little bit. So I'm going to look that up real quick, see if they came back a little bit.
Well, I'm glad.
Nope,
Glad
they
you
still
caught
lost.
those. Oh, okay.
Yeah, they still
Well,
lost.
yeah.
So
Tough
yeah,
luck.
so official announcement that you guys are hearing here first, probably even before I tweet it out tomorrow. I'm officially having an off day. I need it. I need a little vacation. Need to clear my head. Get back on the right track. But we'll be back for Friday for sure. But yeah, Thursday day off because it's been a brutal stretch for a while.
Hey, sometimes you have to, man. They run through their little ruts, and so do we. Rooting them on. So
And
I'm totally
when
with
you're
you.
addicted to betting baseball, and most time baseball only, I don't know what's wrong with me, but that's all I want to do. And I talk
Right.
about how irresponsible and dumb that is. But at the same time, I'm like, ooh, that pitcher's on the mound. Ooh, they've been
Yeah,
hot lately.
same.
You know?
Kershaw was the one the other day. What was it? 1 inning, and he just got crushed. Worst inning career. I'm thinking arm's gone, which I'm not a Dodger fan anyway, but it's kind of, it is what it is. You're going to have days like that, I guess, man. And that's, I've witnessed that. We said we were going to talk some horses in a little bit. I've done a couple horse bets, nothing crazy. Like, I'm not a horse betting expert by any means, but the track has killed me so many times.
I was gonna say, I invited you on to talk horse racing, so you're the Zach Sports horse racing expert.
Zach Sports.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, throw that on the resume.
Thank you for that. Thank you. No, man, I've gotten killed before. Gronk. Do you remember the horse Gronk from Gronk? Rob Gronkowski.
Oh yeah,
owned it. So I wanted to bet him in a exacta. Let's see. That was 2017, I believe. The year Justify. 2018. I apologize. I'm pretty sure it was 2018. He finished his second, and Justify was the clear-cut winner. I mean, he was head. It's like the year Pharaoh won, and I was like, Gronk. I like the name, but nothing's really there. Nothing's clicking. He hasn't done anything special. There's so many other horses to pick. I didn't pick the exacta. If I had, there's a little bit of money. Gronk, with his long odds, would have definitely brought something back, but I didn't. I regret it. That's one that'll stick with me forever. But it was pretty cool seeing, Gronk's a partier anyway, the actual Gronk, the namesake. So it was fun watching him have some something to do. It was very cool, though. It was very cool, other than the loss. I think it was like a $5 ticket or something.
Yeah, I was going to say the majority of mine too this year were both just like $5 bets, just kind of something, but make it a little interesting because this is my like first year that I've actually like watched like the Kentucky Derby or watched any horse race. Like I was just sitting there and I was just like looking through it. I was like, you know what? Like, it seems interesting. Like, I kind of want to like see it, and just like actually watching like the broadcast, I'm like, all right, this is like a bucket list thing. Like, I'm going to Louisville. Like, I'm going to the Kentucky Derby. I'm going to go all out one day. Go and get one of those super fancy hats, like
Yeah,
a
dress
bow
up, man.
tie. Like, I go all out, dude. And I'm like, this is happening. Like, at some point in my life, I'm going to a Derby. And yeah, so this week, based off who I am as a person, I, hang my hat on this. I'm a names guy when it comes to the horse. You have to bet the names. Like, you can look odds, you can look skill. Like, come on, the names is the most important thing.
Yeah, that's
So-
the fun. That's the most. Excuse me. That's the most fun thing to bet. Also, when
And
you're
that's why
betting
we're
the name.
betting to have fun.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. Like,
yeah,
you
it's
don't
definitely have to
wanna
make
hang your
money,
head.
or else I'd be rich by now. But yeah, so I had some action. I had 2 plays. I had Midnight Bourbon, which I'm a huge bourbon whiskey guy, so that was easy decision. And then Rock Your World, like 2 outstanding names. And I was so close to betting Medina Spirit, but I was like, I already have 2 horses. I'm like, I don't want to bet 3. And now that Medina Spirit won, I can fully say, like, oh, I was going to bet him. I can be one of those guys now. Like, I was so close. But, like, I was. And then just, like, hearing all about Bob Baffert, I was like, 12-1. I'm like, I told him. And he led the whole way. Like,
Yeah, wire to wire, gate to wire. Awesome race. I have rewatched now, of course, and a couple of those horses, I should say. Midnight Bourbon, he actually had a bad break. He still finished 6th, I believe, 6th, 5th, something like that. But not bad to have a terrible break and get the mud and dirt and rock all in your eye. That's why he didn't do so great. That's why he was kind of, a little off kill. And who was the other horse you said?
Rock Your World. I think he got like 3rd or something.
Rock Your World. He actually beat Medina Spirit. I think Medina Spirit has lost 3 times.
Yeah, Rock Your World was undefeated heading into it.
Yeah, and Rock Your World, I think, had beaten him in 2 of those 3 races. So, I mean, you weren't that far off, man. You really weren't. Medina,
for the first time.
The only reason for me to go for Medina was the Bob Baffert connection. He broke a record that was, a few years ago, it was unthinkable. I never thought we would see a Triple Crown winner, Zach. I really didn't. I mean, I figured it would happen eventually, but 37 years, man. And Pharaoh was the horse, American Pharaoh. I gotta say, he's the greatest horse that I've ever seen, and because he's the first Triple Crown winner, that's why. But he's Baffert trained, and since then, man, Baffert has been on a tear. He's gotten 4 derbies in just the last, I think 6 years. Pharaoh, Justify, and then last year with Authentic and Medina Spirit. Medina Spirit was, like you said, wire to wire. A little bit of struggle at the end, but it was very cool to see Bob Baffert break a record that I think Ben Jones held. I think Ben Jones. I think he's a legendary Kentucky trainer. So
okay. I was gonna say that this is why you're the Zach Sports expert, man. I can't.
Well, I had to look this stuff
I know
up.
the only thing hey, you did more than I did. The only thing I know before American Pharaoh is Seabiscuit.
Hey, Seabiscuit, he could have been with Seabiscuit. I'm gonna have to look that up. But Ben Jones, I've heard the name. I can't place exactly where he was because the article didn't talk about his horses, but sitting on 6 derbies, I was like, man, it would be so cool to see Baffert, take the record. And he did, but I didn't get to see it. So that's
B-dub.
Yeah, I know. What the hell, man? I left. They weren't showing I told you I was going to watch Andy Ruiz. I'm a big boxing fan. He wasn't on. So I'm like, I'm out. This place sucks tonight. But yeah, I mean, Velasquez, he's a 4-time Derby winner now. He was on Medina Spirit. It's just like any other, good. You need a great head coach. That would be Baffert. You need that team leader out there, whoever, if that's your so-called quarterback, point guard, that's kind of your jockey. And he did an excellent ride for Medina, and Medina just let him do the work. And that's why he's honestly a favorite now. I mean,
he is.
Of course, he just won, but there's a few horses that's going to get in the way. But man, this is going to be so fun.
Let's just get right into it, man.
Yeah,
May
you re- oh, you
15th. I was
running
gonna say
it
that
down.
hell of a transition, maybe. You should host this. That
No,
was a great transition right there,
no,
man.
I promise. This is I've listened. I think your friend Jordan was. You guys were talking some pre-draft stuff.
Yeah.
Amazing stuff. It was really cool.
Oh,
Um,
thanks, man.
Concert Tour was also a Baffert horse.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at him right now. I know we talked about that a little bit. My first thoughts looking at kind of these opening odds, there's three that kind of stick out to me. One is Concert Tour. First off, dope name. Second
Of
off, Bob
course.
Baffert. So,
Yeah.
that's 2 for 2 right there. A Midnight Bourbon, I have to run it back with him because I just can't imagine if Midnight Bourbon comes out and wins at 15-1, and I
Hey, yeah.
don't bet him this time. I can't do it. So Midnight Bourbon, I'll be back on. And then the last one, if I want to put like a dollar bet, $5 bet, something even smaller, I gotta go the very last one, 25-1 right now, the opening odds. Get Her Number. That is the best horse name I've ever seen. I did see a couple takes where it's never the best horse name. It's always like a top tier horse name. So just because of that, I get why Get Her Number probably won't win. But same thing
Hey,
with
you
Midnight
never know.
Bourbon. How do I not bet Get Her Number? That is the best horse name I've ever heard.
So Midnight Bourbon is actually it's a Tisnow. It's a Tisnow horse who should have won. Okay, one of his horses should have won last year. It's the sire, the dad, basically. And Tis the what was the name? Tis the Law. Tis the Law lost. He came in second last year to Authenticity. But I mean, he's out of Tiz now, and basically, I don't know anything about the mom, but she comes from Malibu Moon, one of my favorite horses a few years back. So he has an awesome bloodline. And honestly, people weren't looking at that with Medina. His bloodline wasn't there. It was really shocking. I think his sire is he has 8 winners when Midnight Bourbon's sire has literally 600 and this year. So because there's a race every day from all over the world. So
the Bob Baffert effect. Wow.
The Bob that played a huge, I think that played a bigger factor than people realize. But I would say Midnight Bourbon is definitely a great one to run back. He's already a favorite on some of these racing sites.
And I'll have to look up. I would assume it'd be the same jockey as
Kentucky Derby. They keep the same jockey.
I was gonna say I'm blanking on his name, which sucks, but he's he's looking to be the oldest guy to win. He's 55, been doing this for years and years. I was like, give me that experience, baby. Experience plus a good name, good bloodline. Midnight.
Could it be Mike Smith? Is he?
That's his name.
Okay, Mike Smith's an awesome. He's an awesome jockey. We're also gonna have. I hope I'm saying this right because I've missed his previous races, but he's only lost, I think, once. Let me see. I don't know. I know his odds right now. Right now they're 14-1. That's that's overseas, but Rom Bauer. I'll say it that way. It could be wrong. He wasn't in the Derby, and unfortunately, I didn't watch enough racing this year to really, COVID and it. Last year we had the Derby in September. It was very strange.
Yeah.
So, I got a little off kilter there, and unfortunately, these guys were ponies and they were babies, so I didn't really get to know some of them. And the ones that were early odds-on favorites, like in the futures odds, Hembry, he wasn't even in the race this year. He didn't. I don't know what happened to him. I don't know if there's a couple losses on his resume, but Rom Bauer. I'll just say it that way.
I think Rom Bauer sounds right.
Rom Bauer. Yeah, I'm stuttering all over the place. I was looking for my water, man, and I cannot find it. I always come prepared, and I didn't this time. But Rom Bauer is already 14-1. And then again, Concert Tour. I mean, he's got awesome pedigree again, 3 wins in 4 races. But those are kind of 3 horses I'm looking at. But like you said, Midnight Bourbon's in there. Of course, Concert Tour and Rom Bauer would be my probably 3rd pick if I'm betting against Medina.
Yeah, which like I just gotta say, like I said, I have been a quote unquote horse racing guy for was it been that it was what 4 days now, 5 days,
Yeah.
and
Yes.
I was gonna say like I am all in. Like that,
It's
it's
the
fun,
most
man.
fun.
It's
It's
fun to
so
just
fun.
talk about, man. Like if you have told me like this time last week, like, hey, next week on your podcast, you're gonna have a nice, 20-30 minute conversation on just horses, I'd be like, what? Like, no way. Like it's like I could maybe, muster up and nod along to about 5-10 minutes, but no, all in, baby. Like I said, this is gonna be fun. I'm ready for May 15th.
I'm so glad everyone got to come. I don't even think it might have been full capacity, but
I was gonna say in Louis, like it looked pretty much full capacity.
yeah, people were loving it though. It was an electric crowd.
It was a
from
party.
going back watching it. Yeah, that's what it's about. That lifestyle,
Oh, yeah.
that fun, that party. Get you a mint julep, a sandwich, a beer later, have some fun, make some bets. That's what that night's about, or that day's about.
Yeah, just take the entire day and just wear a fun hat, which I'm all about my hats. Just wear a fun hat.
Pick up a girl.
Go
run into Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady.
Yeah.
These guys are always there. I've been by Churchill Downs. I'm in southern West Virginia, but Kentucky's not that far off. I've been by there. There was no racing, and I was a kid. I didn't know anything about racing, so it's definitely on a bucket list for me also to do, Zach. It's a fun.
We got to, man. But I was gonna say that was a good talk. Got some good horse talk in there. Like I said, very excited for May 15th. Be sure to check it out. But let's get into some fighting now. Like I said, we're going to cover it all here at Zach Sports. We got some horses, some fighting. You're a big boxing guy. I used to I haven't been able to keep up with it as much as I would have liked to. But because boxing in itself it's kind of in a weird dynamic right now, weird atmosphere. Like I still love the sport itself, but it's interesting. Like that's the nicest, simplest way to put it. Like it's kind of an interesting dynamic.
It really is, man. We're seeing people come out the woodwork. I seen who was the most recent athlete. I'm stuttering. I really need that water about right now. Right.
I was gonna say, man, go get it. I can go next time I go on one of my rambles, man. Those can last minutes.
Oh no, I love the rambles. Come on, that's what keeps viewership going, Zach. Come on. But we had Jake Paul. I mean, people were like, so what do you think about Jake Paul? And I'm like, I don't know what. Yeah, I don't know what to say about, because honestly, I had no idea they were YouTube stars. I'm still, fairly new to boxing, like trying to keep up, and for every weight class, it's very hard. It still is, obviously there's so many weight classes, so many belts. Jake, I think, owned a silver WBC belt after one fight that I think they gave it. I don't even know, but Triller was
the belts.
We have WBC, WBO, IBF, and WBA. Okay, and those are the four major sanctioning bodies. And I think you got a WBC, which is the big green belt. You have your Ring magazine also, which is the one Rocky. It's kind of funny, like the red, white, and blue belt there, the lineal championship, as you will. But it's pretty cool.
That's what got me into boxing, was all the Rocky movies growing up.
Oh man,
those are still to this day some of my favorite movies ever. I can just
sit
down any day. And Creed is fantastic as well. Like I love them, and that's kind of what got me into it. I'm like, this whole boxing thing is awesome, and started watching some highlights from the 90s, seeing Mike Tyson just knock some people out. I was like, I love this sport. Now today it's just celebrities going at it, which I mean, it's entertaining in a different way, but just the whole landscape of boxing has changed.
It really has. Seeing these former athletes, like a Nate Robinson, that was Ben Askren, and I know I'm not meaning to talk about just Jake Paul or Logan.
Yeah, look, I mean, we got to touch on it. I mean, and speaking of that Logan
it's gonna
Paul
be
fight,
fun. Yeah,
I was gonna say that Logan Paul Floyd Mayweather fight, Chad Ochocinco is going to be Oh, like
Yeah,
him now.
he's the athlete. I was thinking of Chad, but also we've got people just out of the woodwork. I've seen, we had Tyson Roy Jones Jr. here in December, November, somewhere around. Or no, that it was earlier in the year, I think. But I mean, Triller is something in itself. It's basically like a party. It's a party atmosphere. And if you want to see Oscar De La Hoya drunk, high, and saying F-bombs, watch Triller, because
I heard a take, and it was the most fun, like the funniest and most accurate take, because it like kind of crossed my mind, because like we're kind of seeing a wave of like kind of that more like more relaxed, more calm, not like as professional, just more kind of laid back, like for the people, like. So there's more cussing, more talking about whatever. We're seeing that in a lot of different, aspects of sports. But a guy was saying, I forgot who it was, but he was like, yeah, so it's like they got the okay, like the day before. Everyone at Triller got the okay to cuss and, talk about weed and alcohol like the day before. So then they just went crazy with it and they went overboard. Because I know they had Pete Davidson.
Really did.
Say they had Pete Davidson, and like the first like 10 minutes of the broadcast, I was like, okay, this is kind of fun, this is kind of funny. But then like by the time they had like a third full concert and they're just like saying F this, F that, like talking constantly, I was like, okay, yeah, they're trying a little too hard, I think, to be funny. And like with all this stuff, like it's not natural anymore. Like
it was overboard, to say the least.
And was.
I think that the purest boxing fan, and there's plenty out there, there's still like an old guard of boxing that's like, who needs Triller? And I'm not saying I'm that type of fan. Yeah. I do.
You are on boxing Twitter, though. You did admit to that.
Yes, and it's dangerous. It's a dangerous place to be. Oh my God. They are vile, man. They will take it.
Give me an example, or give me just a tidbit, like 30-second description of what is boxing Twitter.
Boxing Twitter is a bunch of insane, jealous people, basically, who like, if say we like Top Rank on ESPN, but we like other promotions, and there will be a PBC Fox fan, for example, that will hate me and Uzak just because we like other promotions and not just PBC. Like that's the basic. And there's other promotions also, but I've had a lot of PBC hate. Those people are just insane for whatever reason. Is it because of the Fox link? I don't know. I'm not saying anything.
So they're instead of like basketball Twitter, NFL Twitter, where it's you got your teams. So for boxing, it's all about the promotions and the promos that like
a lot
have their backing.
I've noticed that a lot. My take has been like, there's this one person, I can't think of the name right now, but he basically hates on a lot of other fighters linked with other promotions. And see, some guys will only fight. There's a guy this weekend, he just signed for one fight with Matchroom. So I don't know if he sucks now I haven't seen him, by the way, but I don't know if he sucks for right now. And if he signs to PBC, he's cool then, or how it goes. But those people are they're demented in their own way with how they look at the boxing world. It's already hard enough to get these fights because there's so much, say you own promotion A and I own promotion B. It's hard enough to try to get those fights made with their fighters that, then you have the outside world just clamoring and going crazy. That helps nothing. And then they're like, well, I'm not watching. And then they lie, then they stream it off the internet.
Oh yeah, they're on watching. I mean, yeah. If you go out of your way to say that you're not watching, 9 times out of 10, like, oh, you're watching. Like, you could say that, try to make a fuss, and then, which you can go out and stream it. So, it doesn't count for the, the views and the records and all that. But, I mean, I'm just out of college, so that's how I watch all my sporting events anyways. So, it works out.
I admit, I watched the Triller event that way.
Oh,
God help me.
I was going to pay for that. I'm so glad. I can't imagine paying for that.
After we watched, I felt like we should have got paid. I really feel like we should have paid.
Yeah. Like I seriously like watch that and like I can like joke, make memes, like all that stuff with it and comment and not truly be pissed because it didn't cost me a dime. If I don't even know what was like 70. So like
70.
I was gonna say like
Yeah.
it was up there a little bit. If I paid $70 for that, oh, I would have been pissed. The only
Well,
like
they're
the
trying to
best
put more
part
fight.
I was gonna say the best part besides uh Jake Paul winning me money. Just he was like minus 160. I was like, I gotta bet the favor. Like it's Jake Paul. But the like
Mhm.
only other good part was, I mean, Snoop Dogg. If you have Snoop Dogg at anything, it's gonna be a great event. And like they just kept.
You're right.
I was gonna say Snoop Dogg's blunt was like the whole like show because that's all the announcers were talking about because they just got carried away and were overexcited. It's like, oh, we can talk about a blunt, and he talked for like 5 minutes, like, ooh, are you getting that secondhand high from Snoop Dogg? And I was just like, shut up, guys, like, come on, like,
Maybe, but yeah, I totally agree. It was ridiculous. One of my favorite fighters to watch, Regis Prograis, was there, and he was the only legit fight to watch. And his fight ended so weird somehow, like the guy was stretchered out. I don't even know. My stream was in and out. Thank God, because I love Regis. He's a fun follow on Twitter and stuff too. So it was crazy to say the least,
yeah.
but fun in a way too. I don't. Maybe that's where I hope not, but maybe that's where the world of
You'll
boxing is
say
going.
I really think it is. I think we're gonna see like just these kind of celebrities. Like Jake Paul has all this money, and I mean, he's getting paid more for these fights. He's paying the people he's fighting more than the boxers are getting paid at when all their other like title fights. So I mean, it's kind of looking that way, and in a way, I like it because it's always fun. Like there's just something about it. Like all right, these two guys that people know, these people love. Like okay, who's gonna like beat the shit out of the other guy? Like who's
Yeah,
gonna like beat him in boxing? Like that will always be something, but at the same time, like it's not like the same as like these guys that have grown up boxing and like respect the sport, love the sport for what it is, and then like becoming a star. But it's tough. It's not as marketable as it was in like the '90s, and it's interesting.
yeah,
It's an interesting dynamic.
you're right. Absolutely. I mean, competing with something like a UFC, a giant in itself,
Yeah,
it's very hard. So I think some of these companies are trying to do that, and you know, hopefully it works. Hopefully it does, because the
yeah.
more money, more eyes, the better.
But let's get into some other fights. We have a big one this weekend. Maybe I think the beef is resolved.
It is on. It's
The
on.
fight is
Official.
on of
Yes.
Billy Joe Saunders and Canelo. There were some rumors like yesterday. I literally read right before we started recording. Like I think the article came out a couple hours ago. Like the beef is squat. Like who knows what the ring size is going to be? But there
Yeah.
was a lot of drama, a lot of oh no, we're not going to do this. And no, he knew what he was doing, making the ring like that small and making it that big to try to make it seem like I'm, pussing out and don't want to fight. Like, just wild, man.
Of all the things that we've seen fights and whatever not happen about, whether they're letting it marinate for a while, like with Floyd and Manny years back, the
Yeah.
biggest fight that marinated a little too long. This one's been on like twice now, and for Billy Joe, I mean, I guess I kind of understand. So he wanted a 20, let me see, I got it in my note here. 24-foot ring. He moves around a lot. He's bigger, actually.
Yeah.
Canelo's a smaller guy, but a harder hitter, a bigger boxer puncher, if you will. He hits hard. He goes for the kill a lot. But Billy Joe has to move around, both very athletic, of course, but 24 foot is going to give you a lot more space, right?
Uh-huh.
So when it was announced as 18, I guess that really got under his skin. I think they're going to settle somewhere between.
Yeah.
This is like who gets the kid at, over the weekend, 20 to 22-foot ring, because Canelo did say, okay, we'll do 20. And Billy Joe's like, well, I want at least 22.
Mhm.
So I'm expecting 20 probably.
Yeah,
because
I like how it was
Canelo,
Billy Joe's dad that was like the main like
yes,
talker
yeah,
behind it. Like it was all his dad. I was like, oh, all right, there we go. Tom, go get him.
yeah, exactly, man. Exactly. And it's funny because maybe that takes some heat off of Billy Joe, because it's his dad. They're boxing dads. They're insane. We have Teofimo Lopez Sr. Oh my God, he's
But
crazy.
I have a serious, groundbreaking journalistic question for you.
Okay.
All right, boxing Twitter versus boxing dads. Who wins?
Boxing have to win in
Yeah,
a good, because they're so outlandish. You want to cheer for them. It's like LeVar Ball. Okay.
yeah. It's the boxing
Tom,
dads.
yeah, Tom's 1,000. Tyson Fury's dad's insane. I forget his name, but but yeah, Tom Saunders causing a big uproar. Who else?
Days before the fight.
Yeah, Angel Garcia is Tony Montana if he had a son that boxed. Basically, he's wearing these crazy outfits. He calls out people. He's hilarious. When his son gets beat, he doesn't care. He's like, he was robbed. He'll say it right there on TV. Yeah. But yeah, this is going to be fun, man. This was supposed to take place last year.
Yeah.
We didn't get it because of COVID, and it could have probably been done. Canelo fought Callum Smith for I believe it was the WBA championship in December. And it was a great fight. Callum had never lost. He's now 29-1 because he just took shot after shot. Canelo was doing whatever he wanted, and it's kind of funny seeing a 5'8" guy do that to a 6'1" guy.
Yeah, you don't see that every day.
Yeah, in the ring, especially in boxing, reach is a lot.
Yeah, reach is.
Yeah, but Canelo just wearing him down, and I think he very much can do the same to Billy Joe, who's a little bit taller. I want to say Billy Joe's 5'10", maybe. I don't know the exact height.
I saw it earlier, but I don't have that in my notes. But Canelo is the favorite at -625 based off today. That will obviously change. And Billy Joe is +500. And a lot of the money is all on like Billy Joe right now, which I guess for those odds, it makes sense. But I think a lot of people do see a potential upset coming because this is like Canelo's biggest test. So
it could. This is, I appreciate Canelo for taking, Canelo isn't afraid. Love, hate him. And there's a lot of people that hate him, honestly. And the same with Billy Joe with his comments and things. He's made silly comments over the year, just trying to be funny, and I guess it didn't stick. But yeah, he's I think I had him it was +550 on one side, but +500 on another. Just kind of different differential stuff. But yeah, a Saunders TKO, which I don't expect, but if you want to lay some money down, I love playing for the tie also.
You're one of those. You're an unders better, aren't you? Though, too.
Yeah, I love under overs. I would go over. My play in this would go. I would say if I'm betting, I would have to say Canelo because I can't picture him losing. He can. He's lost to Floyd, but in this match, say if I'm doing, I don't know, because you can parlay these. I'm saying it's going over 10.5 rounds. And I think Canelo wins by points. I think that can be, parlayed on some sites.
Yeah.
It's a little different. I tried with basketball. It wouldn't let me do it on one of the same games, but I think FanDuel's changed. I don't know if it'll exactly let you, but I know at a casino you can do like the 3 bets in one. So I would take Canelo, the over 10.5 rounds, winning by decision. But Billy Joe has won a majority of his fights, over half, about 52% by points. So, decisions. And I think if he takes Canelo there, though, I don't think he gets it done. I think he loses his belt, unfortunately.
But that means he has the stamina to go the distance, which is huge.
It does. And Callum did go the distance also, I should say, against Canelo. So that was that was big in its own right. A lot of people expected a huge knockout, but we almost got it, but we did. So.
Yeah, I like it. I think I might go with that, and I will be screaming louder than I've ever screamed if someone goes down. If there's a knockdown or something, I will be get up. I will be there, and I will be the happiest man whenever he gets back on his feet. But I like that. I like those bets. Are there any other good fights that top 3, top 4 that you kind of want to touch on?
This is basically, so the funny part, I wanted to tell you this. This
Okay.
is
I'm ready.
Canelo left DAZN and Golden Boy, Oscar De La Hoya's company, his promotion.
Okay.
More money. DAZN wasn't really giving him what he wanted. So basically what he did, he's kind of independent, but he's working with Eddie Hearn of Matchroom, who's putting this event on. Well, Eddie Hearn is exclusive to DAZN, and he's back with DAZN. He makes about $35 million a fight. So this is his entire. I really expect Canelo to be. I mean, he's a brand in himself, but we have these 2 fights for sure. Elwin Soto. This is his first Matchroom boxing match. I don't know a ton about Elwin, but I think he's going to get the win for the WBO light flyweight against Katsunari Takayama, a 37-year-old Japanese minimum weight champ at one time. So he's going for another weight class. I think he will probably lose to the younger, Elwin. But we also have Frank Sanchez, 17-0, 13 knockouts, versus Nagy Aguilera. And you can hear my dog going crazy.
I like it. What kind of dog you got?
A husky. And he howls. He just howls. He tries to talk. He's a baby. Yeah. We have him through there right now. But
I love huskies, but I have heard they're very dramatic and they like to talk.
Nothing's happened, I promise. But that's exactly that's why I wanted the butt. Couldn't find him beforehand.
Hey, that works, man. We have it all.
He wants to be a star, Zach. That's his.
Yeah, you know what? I don't blame him. I mean, the reach that Zach Sports has gotten, we've gotten like 40 listeners before, so we're out there.
His name is Tyson, actually. So
Tyson, ooh, I like it.
Bigger, yeah, Tyson.
Staying on topic. There we go.
Yeah, that's his namesake, of course. So, Frank Sanchez, bigger heavyweight. This is his second Canelo card. I expect him to go over on Aguilera, who's also, I think he's 34. So Sanchez, the younger, unbeaten guy. They usually do this to bring guys up and really give them a good, at least, shot. He's ranked 6 in the WBO. And the biggest one are 2 kids. I mean, I hate saying kids, but what year were you born, Zach? So you just had a birthday.
I was born 98. I'm 23.
So these guys are your age. Marco, let's see. Mark Castro, they call him Marco sometimes, but Castro versus Keyshawn Davis. Both are 2-0 pro fights. Marco is a Mexican-American fighter, or Mark, I should say, 57-3 amateur record. He has 3 wins over Davis already, but he's been on 3 straight Canelo cards. I kind of think he's going to have Canelo's trainer also, Eddie Reynoso. And Elwin is also, or sorry, not Elwin, but Sanchez is also. They're going to have Eddie Reynoso. So it's going to be a Canelo covered card. It really is.
Wow. So you're telling me that there's people my age, boxing, fighting, and I'm here talking to a microphone on a beautiful Wednesday night. I like it. I like where things are going.
Yeah, man.
I mean, what it is.
We're living.
I like it.
We can throw money their way, hopefully. I don't know if exactly like a FanDuel or DraftKings. I haven't seen a ton of undercard fights on their sites, but
I haven't seen a lot either yet. I was struggling to even find some of those fights that you were just talking about. So it's just because it's like, the fight was on, highly anticipated, and then, the rumors, is it even going to happen? and now all of a sudden it's like, okay, it's happening now. So I think they're just kind of scrambling right now, but they're getting some people together, and it's going to be a good one. And when are those fights?
This will Saturday on the Zone,
All
AT&T
right.
Stadium. We already have over 60,000 tickets sold. I think they said 70,000. So this is blowout,
Fans,
boxing.
baby. Let's
Yeah,
get it. We're getting there.
Texas wide open. So
Uh,
very, very excited for this one.
I love it. I am as well. But I mean that'll do it. That was a fun episode, man. I said at the beginning, good episode, talking some horses, talking some fighting. And I mean it was a little bit of a longer Zach Sports episode last week with the mock draft. So we're getting in there a little under an hour this time. So, you're welcome on that one. I didn't mention it in the beginning, but go follow us on social media, Twitter at Zach Sports HQ. We're I hit 300 followers today, so we're getting there. So I appreciate that all. YouTube, you can just search my name, Zach Rieger. I'm on TikTok now. I'm trying that out. I have a few videos there. So, Zach Sports HQ on that. We're growing. We're trying to have some fun with it. We got YouTube, Twitter. There's rumors of an Instagram possibly coming here soon. Who knows? But I really want to thank Justin, our Zach Sports official horse and boxing expert, for coming on, man.
Appreciate you, Zach, my brother. This was awesome. It really was. Like I said, you're legit. 300.
That's what I was just gonna bring that up. Before this, we were texting a little bit, and he's like, "This is, I'm excited. This is like the first legit podcast I've been on." And I'm just like, "Man, I'm flattered. Like, this is a legit podcast. All right, we're legit, baby. I like it." Justin, you are welcome on anytime. I meant to say this at the beginning as well, man. You have the voice, baby. Like, your voice is perfect, man.
I have a little West Virginia slang sometimes.
I
So
love it.
I work. Actually got to call a few games this year, girls' games. My alma mater, you're an NBA guy. So Mike D'Antoni is from my county, basically. So our school, the girls just won the state championship in AA. I got to call one of their games. So
awesome.
That was really fun. They brought home, I think, a fourth women's championship in 22 years. So
that's sweet. That's great. You were on the call, baby. You definitely got the voice for it. But
well, I didn't get to call the big one, but it was very fun to call the regular season.
Hey,
the others.
Works.
Yeah, I'm ready for next year, man. I appreciate the voice comment anytime.
Yeah.
I take compliments where I can get them.
Oh, for sure. But thanks, brother, for coming on. We'll talk to you later, and thank you everyone so much for listening. Have a great one, and we'll talk to you next week.